Hey, welcome to Viva Physical Media, episode 10.
Woo!
I'm Emalie Soderback.
I'm Kevin Clark. Cheers.
Hey, cheers.
Cheers. It's February 1st. So
January's over. I'm reunited with Rainier.
You're
Feels
dry.
great.
Yeah, how's it?
Good.
Had you had something to drink before
No,
this?
this is literally my first beer.
What? All
Yeah.
right. It's good. I'm glad we could be here. We could all be here to witness this.
Yeah, you guys can all witness it. I remembered how to open one. It tastes how I remember it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't been that long.
it's just like
It's been a month. So.
just like it was before,
Yeah.
like
Oof.
last year. My boyfriend got me like this cocktail making kit and like all these tools and stuff too during Christmas, and like I haven't even used them yet because I immediately stopped drinking right after that. So I'm excited to like make a fancy
That's awesome.
cocktail. Yeah.
Was he taking the month off too?
Nope.
Oh
Just
no.
me.
Oh, no solidarity at all.
He's done it without me before too, though, in the past.
Okay, fair. Okay.
Yeah, January was it felt really long. I don't know if it was because I wasn't drinking or if it's because it was 31 days or if it was because
The
it's the
news.
year after 2020 and all this weird shit happened.
Yeah.
But moving forward.
Moving forward, well, February is going to feel shorter.
Yeah.
For
Actually.
sure. For
and
sure.
it will. It's Women in Horror Month. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
And it's also Black History Month, of course.
Right.
There's also
wow.
Valentine's Day.
Well, none of my picks relate to any of those things. Do any of yours?
No.
I'll have to pick some ones that do next time, I guess. Now that
Yeah,
I know all that. I mean, I knew Black History Month. I did not know Women in Horror Month.
Yeah.
And I knew Valentine's Day.
Thanks for watching.
Yep.
10th episode, really cool.
We made it to 10.
I kind of can't believe, I mean, I kind of can believe that we've done 10, but that's a lot.
Once you get the momentum going, you just
Yeah,
keep them
it's a milestone.
coming.
So yeah, thanks for watching and liking and subscribing, sharing, and emailing. So for our 10th episode, we decided we wanted to do something like a little different, a little special. We made a list of 10 genres, and we're gonna each recommend you guys one movie from each genre.
Yeah, it was gonna not like our lengthy, digressive.
And this episode's going to be 5
It's
hours
gonna be
long.
5 hours long, but when we are lengthy, digressive, recommendations, just like quick,
just gonna say it.
quick, like here's the movie, here you go, and you're just gonna have to take our word for it.
Yep.
That it's a good movie.
Yep, we're getting our beers ready, and we're powering up to give you 10 rapid fire genre recommendations.
Let's do it.
Our first category, I feel like I'm doing a game show with you. Our first category.
Our first genre.
Bonjour. Our first genre,
Bonjour, ça va?
action.
The Street Fighter starring Sonny Chiba.
My pick is Ronin by Frankenheimer.
Animation.
Millennium Actress, Satoshi Kon.
Mind Game, and I forget the director's name, but it's this amazing Japanese animated film.
Our third category is horror.
Slither by James Gunn.
Ooh. I picked City of the Living Dead by Fulci.
Western.
One-Eyed Jacks by Brando.
Ulzana's Raid by Robert Aldrich.
All right, musical.
Cannibal the Musical by Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
Mine was Funny Girl by William Wyler.
I have not seen that.
You should.
He's a perfect director, though. Next one is drama.
Other People.
I went with Night Riders, directed by George Romero. Comedies made after the 1980s.
Blockers, 2018.
Mine's one of my favorite movies of all time is Wet Hot American Summer.
Pre-80s comedy.
I went with Hell's a Poppin' by Olsen and Johnson, which is great. It's like a live-action cartoon.
What year is that?
It's from like the 1930s.
I also picked a 30s. I picked The Women by Kukor.
Ooh. The next one is Romance.
I picked Dogfight, 1991.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's so good. River Phoenix.
I picked A Swedish Love Story, which in Sweden is just called A Love Story. The last one here is documentary.
I chose Iris by the Maisels brothers.
I'm sorry if I mispronounce it, but it's called Symbiocytotoxoplasm.
So yeah, trust us on all of these. 'Cause
Trust us.
We stand by it. Trust us.
Take
This is
our word for
This
it.
is our trust us category, and this segment may come back in the future. Trust us.
I think it was pretty fun.
That was pretty fun. Anyways, yeah, if you watch any of those, let us know.
VHS Action Squad. It's my friend at the last seduction. Oh no, look out. It's Taxi Driver. Take that. Nothing can stop us now. It's It's 4 copies of 6 Days, 7 Nights to the Rescue. Take that, villains. Yeah! VHS Action Squad by Scarecrow. Each sold separately.
Well, speaking of VHS Action Squad,
yeah, our holiday special's still on YouTube if you guys want to check out the bizarre.
Oh, absolutely.
Crazy. I don't even know how to.
I won't because I
describe it.
lived it.
Yeah.
I barely remember it.
You can watch Kevin getting progressively
and you'll
drunker
see why.
and drunker.
My first pick
I have all my
is
stuff out. Like, oh my god.
my first pick is Eagle Pennell's Last Night at the Alamo. There's 2 movies that he made, 2 masterpieces of independent American cinema. This and his first movie called Whole Shootin' Match. And I've mentioned, as Rich mentioned, I've mentioned this movie probably on every show. So maybe this will be the last time. Played it at very early Sundance. This is from 1983. And Whole Shootin' Match was actually instrumental in Robert Redford setting up the Sundance Institute, which is the institute where they would do internships, or what do you call it?
Like workshops.
Workshops. Where they would work. Yeah, is the institute where they workshop movies. Whole Shootin' Match, Eagle Pennell's first movie, was like sort of instrumental in getting that set up, because Robert Redford realized, oh, there could be a real independent cinema in America, and I have the money to help that along. And it is on my list of like 3 or 4 great hangout bar movies, and it would be this.
I love Hangout.
Barfly, and the one from last year actually called Bloody Nose, Empty Pockets, which I mentioned in my best of the year, and arguably Eugene O'Neill's Iceman Cometh is probably the ultimate bar movie. But Last Night at the Alamo is the last night at the Alamo, which is this bar where all these guys in Texas are hanging out, this Houston bar, and it's going to close down the next day. And the main character on the cover is Sonny Carl Davis, and he plays a character named Cowboy, who is sort of half-assedly, apparently, gonna try and save the Alamo, and he calls his buddy he knows who's a representative in Texas. It's all, from the start, it's all sort of this feudal gestures. He's like the king of the castle around this bar.
What have you been doing?
Oh, not too much. Quit my damn job.
Goddamn cowboy, you better watch that shit. You about to get where ain't nobody gonna hire your ass. You're about halfway there already.
Oh, hell, I ain't gonna worry about it. What I ought to do is go out and be in the damn movies. That's what I ought to do.
He does a chug-a-lug contest with 2 different people where they do a shot and chug a beer. But it's just these characters hanging out. And the other guy, the other main dude, is this guy Lou Perryman, who in this movie is constantly on the phone with his wife, who has kicked him out.
If you hadn't kicked me out, I'd be home right now watching TV. Well, I don't know. I guess I just ain't any good for her anymore. Maybe you ought to divorce me and marry some damn stockbroker.
You recognize him if you've seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. He is the guy who works at the radio station with Stretch, and then eventually gets his face cut off by Leatherface and put on her face.
Oh, she has to wear it.
Sadly, in real life, was murdered in his home by this ex-con who had gone off his meds and broke into his house and killed him with an axe, apparently.
With an axe?
Yeah. But they're the 2 main guys, but it's also this whole cast of characters at this bar, and it's essentially just the last night of this bar in Texas, and
all the characters that are there.
and all the people that hang out there.
Cool.
And I mean, that's kind of I think I've done a bunch of hangout movies on this, but it is one of my favorite
You can tell
genres.
the stuff that we like by the fact that we talk about it a lot.
Do I know you or something? Just forget I asked.
There's a documentary on the Whole Shootin' Match DVD set that came out that's out of print, but if you can get a copy, it's great. It's got a great documentary about Eagle Pennell, who also sadly died in 2002, basically because he was an alcoholic. It's a very tragic story, because he was this guy who made these 2 movies, and he has this sort of this guy's very talented. It's a very accurate portrayal of a bunch of people hanging out at bars and being drunks, because the guy who made it was that guy. He's in the movie very briefly too, as a guy playing pool who almost starts a fight and gets kicked out. Yeah, he was one of the guys who was sort of instrumental in, putting Texas independent cinema on the map. And in the documentary, Richard Linklater cites Whole Shooting Match and Last Night at the Alamo as like movies he saw, and we're like, oh, this is really great. This is a guy who's an Austin guy, is a local guy who's making movies, and I can make movies too.
Is it only on VHS?
It's only on VHS. There is a restoration, and if you look it up, as of 2016, there was a promised Blu-ray DVD set, which is yet to come.
So to answer, if you guys are wondering what movies we want to see on Blu-ray, because I know you guys wonder.
I have said this
one
one before. I have said this one before. Yeah, if that question comes up again, it's still this movie.
This
I'll come up with more titles.
And Bermudas.
Both independent gems. Another big box.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the cover's cool. It's cool. It's
like
okay.
a photo collage.
It's kind of a photo collage. It kind of sums up what the movie's like. It's a drunk night at this bar. The last night at the Alamo, in fact.
Where's Cowboy? I wanted to miss this party here. Listen, Skipper, can I have one more beer, please?
Bars, remember those?
Here's to Last Night at the Alamo. Here's to bars. Here's to the great Eagle Pinnell.
My first pick is The Collector. And this one's directed by William Wyler. We talked about William Wyler earlier.
We talked about him last episode.
So this movie came out in 1965. It is known as kind of a departure from his typical themes and his, being looked at as kind of a classic Hollywood type guy. It's very Hitchcockian. So this movie is about this creepy guy who played by Terrence Stamp.
Ooh, awesome.
What else? He's in like a million things, right?
Have you seen the Steven Soderbergh Limey?
I don't know.
He's a guy who's in. Terrence Stamp is a guy who's in a million things. He's Zod in Superman 2.
Which I also haven't seen.
I recently watched.
He has a very particularly broody looking face.
He's a British actor who's been in a million things. I'm a fan, I guess.
You're a big Stamp head.
I'm a Stamp head.
So Terrence Stamp is he plays probably a late 20s, early 30s creepy dude who wins a bunch of money betting on football. It's kind of like winning the lottery, basically. He gets his house. He buys his house in the English countryside. He doesn't have any friends. He's just weird. Drives around looking at girls all day, and he decides with all his money, he has this nice big house and this outdoor wine cellar situation. He decides to kidnap a lady. He stalks this art student played by Samantha Eggar, who you might know as the mom from The Brood.
Oh,
the mom of the Rage Babies. He kidnaps her and he basically sets her up with her own little apartment in this wine cellar. He buys her a bunch of clothes. He's been stalking her for months, so he knows what kind of colors she wears. He gives her art supplies and a bed and stuff. She's like, you need to let me go, basically. And he's he basically wants her to fall in love with him.
I don't understand why you brought me here.
I want you to get to know me.
But you don't kidnap people so they'll get to know you.
That's the way to do it, right? So they come to an agreement. She's like, how long do I have to be here? He's not trying to hurt her or anything, but he's like, okay, how about 6 weeks? And she's like, fuck that. How about 1 week? And they come to an agreement. They settle on 4 weeks or something. So this movie is her living in this guy's creepy stone cellar and interacting with him and figuring out how she can either escape or wait out this 4 week stay. And it's super tension filled. Terrence Stamp is amazing in this. Basically, he is
You should check out some of his other movies.
I guess I might be a Stamp head. He has a very Anthony Perkins I'm a nice guy, but I can snap at any moment, and you don't know how violent he can be or how much of a maniac he actually is. At one point, he expresses frustration about her leaving, and he's like, well. And she's like, no, you'll be my boyfriend. We'll live together. Don't worry, just let me go. Blah, 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 blah. I'll introduce you to my friends. And he's like, your friends are like snobs, basically. I can never like fit in with them. They're so artistic, blah, blah, blah. Like, what's that book you're reading? And she's like, oh, it's Catcher in the Rye. It's so good. And he's like, could I read that book and talk to them about that? And she's like, of course you can. And so he goes and reads it, and he comes back and he's just pissed off, and he like hates Holden Caulfield and like thinks the book is like so dumb.
Well, the boy, the way he hates everything that's false, he's so aware.
You see? He sounds a mess to me.
But he's a human being for all his faults. I mean, you felt sorry for him, didn't you?
No. I don't like the way he talks.
I don't understand. And then he like pulls out a Picasso painting and he's like, this isn't how people look. And she's like, yeah, but it's interpretation. And so he gets mad. He tries to like mansplain art to her. It becomes this whole thing. And it's just like, it's a really gripping and suspenseful movie. And
From William Wyler, who's quickly becoming a Viva physical media mainstay.
Yeah.
I honestly
which
don't,
I never saw coming.
I don't think it's gonna be the last time he comes up on here.
But if you grab that movie, The Heiress, right there, that is also a William Wyler, and it is one of my staff picks. That's another great one. So yeah, I guess we really love William Wyler over here at
Who
Viva
doesn't?
Physical Media. Tagline on the back. I love reading these taglines. If you haven't noticed, on the back, you won't dare open your mouth, but you'll be screaming for her to escape. This is also a really cool cover, I think.
That's a great cover. What's this, Indicator?
Indicator
Puts out good stuff. Yeah, they're putting out nice Blu-rays of older movies. So. On a cool painted cover on the inside, too.
Yeah, this is the cover I was familiar with.
Nice.
Yeah, remember to, if you have one of these cool releases from one of these distribution companies, always check to see if there's an alternate cover.
Yeah.
Well,
Because there
tip.
probably is.
And it's probably cool.
Yep.
But yeah, that's The Collector. You should check it out.
I should collect it.
Collect it. Oh yeah. Also, the thing is, guess what his favorite hobby is? Collecting butterflies. He has a whole room full of them.
I won a hobby prize for this setting.
So my next pick is I've mentioned before how much of a fan I am of Hong Kong cinema, and particularly Hong Kong action cinema of the 80s and 90s. And my next pick is a movie I just watched like a week ago called Fatal Vacation. Eric Sang directed and stars in this, but he plays a guide on a tour guide, and he's taking these people from Hong Kong on a bus trip through the Philippines. And so they're in the Philippines, and he's a tour guide, and there's a bit set up, setting up all the different characters who are on the bus, and then they're all at this nightclub doing some goofy stuff. Meanwhile, across the street, there's these guys who are buying these guns from these people, and then the cops show up. People start shooting. The people from the bus are getting on the bus. As the people who are gunning down cops and getting into a shootout come out of their thing across the street, the whole bus of people get taken hostage. They're keeping them hostage because one of the guys is captured by the government, and they're like, we want to set him free and we'll let these hostages go. It gets pretty brutal a couple times. I'm not gonna lie, pretty rough. Content warning there. But yeah, then it's kind of just these people who are kidnapped, and it's this group of people, a disparate group of people. There's Eric Sang, who's the tour guide, but then there's several. There's some women. There's a cop, and then there's these couple guys who are sort of low-level, crooks and gangsters, and they all learn to like each other, not like each other. There's Victor Wong, who plays Egg Shen in Big Trouble in Little China, is in it, and he's there, and it's him and his wife and their grandson are on this tour.
Is it played pretty dramatically, or is it fun? Or is
well,
it more
I'll say
wacky?
it's played dramatically, but it's what I love about Hong Kong cinema of that period, where it's every genre all in one, and sometimes all uncomfortably in the same scene.
Yeah,
so
the back of this cover is just one large explosion.
Yeah. So I mean, of
And
course,
the front.
it has typically great frenetic action from the period, but also it's got like comedy, and then it's got like but then it's like high melodrama. But also then it's like, now it's a goofy comedy, and sometimes all at once. I don't know, that's what I love about this Hong Kong cinema at the time, is that it has all of it's like every genre all at once. It's sort of like the old the old comedies that they'd make, the Marx Brothers comedies, where they were coming from vaudeville, and so they'd be like, here's a little bit of everything, and now here's Harpo playing a harp for 4 minutes or whatever. Yeah, this is like the same thing, but like they want a guy goofing out. They want some guys dressed as ladies for a scene, then they want some guys getting machine gunned, and they want a guy having a grenade stuffed in his mouth. But yeah, awesome. Fatal Vacation, it is great. It is just a, I don't know, it's wall-to-wall entertainment.
I was trying to think of something funny to say, you guys, but instead I'm just going to talk about the movie that I'm talking about right now, and it's called The Prophecy. The Prophecy. This is a movie I've seen like on the shelves, and I feel like they used to play it on TV a lot, maybe too.
I've never seen it, but I know everybody else around here has.
I didn't know anybody has. I still like don't know the general consensus about this one, but I really liked it. So we have a section up in our psychotronic room called Christploitation, and a lot of the movies in there are like look pretty bad. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, they're like a lot of them are like Left Behind movies and shit like that. Yeah,
and so like I guess my initial reaction was like, is this gonna be like a Christian film? Chistopher Walken's in this, so I was like, okay. So this movie, 1995, directed by Gregory Wyden, who also wrote Backdraft, based on his experience as a firefighter. Did you know that?
I think I did.
And he also created Highlander, the movie, and then later on the TV series. The Prophecy is all about this war that is happening between angels in heaven. The conflict is humans, and if they're going to go to heaven or hell or whatever, basically we're the problem. And
as usual.
As usual. And these angels are not good, basically. Even though they're in heaven, they're fucking evil. They are taking souls from people that are dying on Earth to beef up their army between the good angels and the bad angels, either side of their team up in heaven. Hell is not even involved in this whole thing. Demons are not even involved. There's like this whole thing going on, and there's one soul that is going to like tip the scale to make one party of angels win over the other. And this soul is being hidden in different bodies on Earth.
Okay.
Basically. So Eric Stoltz,
Ooh.
Mask himself, is an angel named Simon, who we see him, he's really fucking creepy, and he's hiding out in this storage room behind this elementary school on a reservation. He befriends this young Native American girl and eventually gives her the soul that he's hiding into her mouth, and it's really, really gross. And then he dies. Gabriel, who is the famous angel. I don't know, you guys.
Did you see the man upstairs, Sandra?
A little.
Did you talk to him?
No.
Well, who did, Sandra? Who talked to the man?
Mary.
Where is Mary, Sandra?
What the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm talking to the kids, man.
Sandra, come here. Come here, honey. The rest of you inside. Now. One.
Right.
See you, kids. Study your math. Key to the universe.
It's basically like a possession movie. This little girl has this soul inside of her. All the healers on the reservation are trying to extract it. But meanwhile, there's this detective that found this old like this old paper written about the War of the Angels and this like dead guy's belongings, and so it's like half detective movie, half like really creepy Christopher Walken, Eric Stoltz, like angels gone bad.
Wow, this has Virginia Madsen, Amanda Plummer, and Viggo Mortensen in it too.
Yeah, so
and
Viggo
Elias
Mortensen-
Koteas.
So Viggo Mortensen shows up towards the end as Lucifer himself.
Are you one of them?
Them.
Are you an angel?
I am the first angel, loved once above all others. A perfect love. But like all true love, one day it withered on the vine.
He is the devil, and it's interesting because he's there to be like, basically to help the humans. Because he's like, this war between angels can't happen, or else heaven is going to just become another hell.
Oh.
And hell is my domain. Evil is my domain. So you guys need to like, I'm going to kill you, and you're going to, come down to hell, or you need to like stay. It needs to be separate, basically. So there's
Why haven't I ever watched The Prophecy?
There's all these different like.
I'm taking it home tonight.
All these different like angel demon politics happening, but it's all taking place on Earth, and like very creep. There's like a lot of body horror scenes too of people like getting these souls like taken out of them and put back into them. The one thing that Gabriel does, so Christopher Walken, in order to he needs like a human helper basically to be on Earth. So what he does is he finds people who are on the cusp of death, like, and right after they die, but before their soul departs, he basically like keeps them in suspended animation, like basically like keeps them alive for his purpose only.
They're like zombies.
Basically. So this guy like had killed himself, but before he actually was like his soul departed.
Gee, Jerry, you look like shit.
Leave me alone, Gabriel.
Soon, pal, soon. Come here. Come here. You still got a spark of life left in you.
Fuck you.
There were some literally, like, actually scary moments. Christopher Walken was amazing. Eric Stoltz was really creepy. Viggo Mortensen was, like, a very creepy / sexy Lucifer. It's Viggo, like, he can't not be. It was a fun surprise. Apparently, Rich told me there's a bunch more.
There's a whole bunch of sequels.
4 sequels.
And you said the first 3 are the ones I should just
The first 3
stick
have
to.
Walken in each of them. He's the character that kind of like shows up in all of them a
Yeah.
little bit, just to kind of keep it framed at the same
Right.
thing, sort of. But then after that, it becomes a Central European 2-movie complete, different from the already established.
Okay.
Yeah, the second one apparently has an awesome cast. What was it, like
Brittany
Glenn
Murphy,
Danzig?
Glenn Danzig,
Jennifer Beals, right?
Jennifer Beals,
Yeah.
And Brittany Murphy, I'll watch it.
and a returning Walken.
Yeah, so I'll probably check out Prophecy 2.
All right. Prophecy 1 is good enough to want to check out Prophecy 2.
Yeah, marked by
That's-
fate, doomed by prophecy, time is running out for mankind. and if that's not a tagline that'll rope you in, I don't know what is.
Hey, it's time for our dog movie.
Here it is. And although nothing, after watching Hotel for Dogs, it's like, why do we even try anymore?
There's different genres of dog movies. We watched Megan Levy recently, and that was a whole other kind of dog movie from Hotel for Dogs.
Great.
Both great though.
The options are
Both
endless,
great.
and that's why we're going to keep doing this, to deliver to you guys the best quality in dog entertainment. And this next movie that we both watched
Yeah.
is called Turner and say it.
Hooch.
Turner and Hooch. I thought I had seen this when I was younger, but I literally remembered 0 of it.
Oh wow, I definitely I saw this a lot of times when I was younger. From between 10 and 12, where it's like I think I saw Turner and Hooch 1,000,000 times probably.
And you hadn't seen it since you were young, probably?
I don't think I'd seen it all the way through since I was young.
I was excited to watch this. I love a young Tom Hanks.
Uh-huh. And there's a lot of young Tom Hanks in this too.
There's a lot of Tom Hanks. When you told me you rewatched it before I got a chance to, and you said that Tom Hanks was in his underwear a lot, and you weren't lying.
No.
He was in his underwear a lot in this movie, or very short shorts, and
Yeah.
I am not mad about it because young Tom Hanks is kind of a babe.
I think he was considered kind of a bad.
Yeah, he has great legs too.
Yeah, he's not bad. It's not. I mean, I wasn't saying it as a negative. Like,
No,
it's a
but it
lot
is
of
a lot.
Tom Hanks in his underwear. Like, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of Seth Rogen in his underwear. Or something.
I would also love that.
Back when Tom Hanks was still in his period of going like, oh no, what are you doing? Oh no,
There's so
not
much
that.
Tom Hanks yelling in this movie.
Oh, no, you're eating the car! Don't eat the car! Not the car!
Anyways, this came out in 1989, directed by Roger Spottiswoode. His filmography is all over the place, but he's directed like a million things. I literally just wrote all over the place. Hanks is like an uptight investigator who is
Not a detective.
investigator.
Yeah, well, thanks. I never thought I'd get to see that again. Hey, Scott, could you show the boys your badge? They never saw a detective's badge before. Sure.
He's a detective?
Nope, an investigator.
I don't know, Dad. Looks kind of fake to me.
Fake? Hey, kid, you want to spend some time in jail?
Who is very like clean. He likes having things his way. He's not like super like OCD or like really like anal retentive about it, but he's very much like
A little bit.
he likes things how he likes things.
He's very
And-
neat. It's set up. There's a whole set up at the beginning. He's a very neat guy. And
Well, the stuff at the beginning, I was like, well, that seems reasonable. like there's some reasonable
yeah,
stuff.
there's a part where he's like vacuuming off his
as his
partner as
his
he's
partner's
eating a muffin, and you're like, that's a bit much.
That was a bit much. And you know straight from the start that he's going to be paired with Hooch, who's not going to be a very neat guy.
Who is the opposite of neat. I mean, on the cover here it says the oddest couple ever unleashed. And they're not kidding. They're not kidding with that tagline.
Hooch belongs to this guy who lives in like a junkyard on the marina that Tom Hanks has kind of a friendship with, and he goes and checks on him every now and again. And
Well, Tom Hanks is retiring, or is moving. He's moving to the big city from the small town police station he works for. He's moving to the big city.
Yeah.
And so he's like, tying up loose ends. He's going to see people. He's introducing his new partner, who is Reginald Vell-Johnson, who
always delight.
Always a delight. Always playing a cop too.
Yeah, pretty
he's
much.
a cop in Die Hard, of course, and he's a cop in Family Matters.
Yeah. In order to get to him, he comes with this muffin. He's like, he knows this dog is like this junkyard dog. He's a French Mastiff, so a big boy.
The dog that played Hooch is named Beasley.
Beasley. He was played by 4 stunt dogs.
Oh, it says, but
But
okay.
Beasley is the one that's almost entirely. Yeah.
Okay, so there were stunt dogs, but Beasley's the star dog.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we don't. Who cares who Brad Pitt's stuntmen are?
Unless Brad Pitt is the stuntman, like in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh my God.
So hot. I forgot the guy who owns Hooch's name, but
I did too. It's like
he witnesses a crime or whatever, and this guy, or he hears it, and they're like exchanging. They're like money laundering or something.
They're money laundering. It's
very vague,
drugs.
but
It's like drugs, and they're money laundering through this fish factory. So they got the money in the ice and stuff. Anyway, he hears some stuff. He was even talking to Tom Hanks earlier. He's going like, to Turner. He's like, they're doing something over there at night, and it's kind of weird. And the dog notices. I'd sleep through it, but the dog is barking all the time. Anyway, the dog starts barking. He ends up dead.
Yeah, he gets killed, and it's really sad. Like, Hooch guards the body, I guess, like all day, all night until the police come, and then they don't know what to do with this dog. His dog's absolutely crazy. He's huge. He's knocking shit over.
Some very unprofessional animal control people show up,
and then
I quit. One lady's just like, "You can take him." And you're like, "I don't think that's how this job is done."
Poor animal control people, because in these movies they're always portrayed like a bunch of fucking idiots.
They're monsters in Hotel for Dogs, and they're just idiots in this movie.
Yeah,
and they're in it for like 2 minutes.
Somehow Tom Hanks is now the owner of Hooch.
He doesn't want to give Hooch up to the animal control
because he's close with his owner.
That, but also Hooch is the only witness to the crime.
Oh yeah. So.
and he's a slobbery mess of a dog.
Hooch is so gross in this. Like, he's so cute. Like, I can't say he's not cute, but there are so many scenes just up close of his drool coming out of his floppy lips that I had to look away from, or Tom Hanks his slipper just tips it over. There's just drool coming out or whatever.
Plus, he's just dirty and he's got sores on him and stuff because he's just
takes him to the vet, who is the nerd from St. Elmo's Fire. But she's the town vet, and they fall in love. She has a lassie dog, a sheepdog, and that dog falls in love with Hooch as well. Obviously, there has
Mayor
to be
Winningham.
Romance. Yeah, there has to be a romance in the dog department. So they hang out, and she's like, yeah, I think he could recognize the bad guy is if he saw him. And so eventually that does happen, and Hooch helps him pinpoint who this money laundering dude was.
Well, Hooch saw the guy who threw the knife into the back of Amos, his owner.
Amos.
There's not much to the plot.
It's like Top Dog, because the marina criminal activity.
That's true. Well, I think Top Dog was after this, so
Top Dog took that, basically.
Oh, Top Dog was ripping off this and Canine, which were both like pretty close together with Jim Belushi and a German Shepherd.
And
we'll get to it.
Tom
We'll
Hanks
get to it.
literally has zero idea like what it means to take care of a dog too. He's like he has Hooch outside.
If you're hungry, finish the hamburgers. Eat the buns. Eat the buns. You're not thirsty. You're not touching the water, the orange juice, crabapple. What am I supposed to do? Make you a margarita?
But one thing that Hooch loves, that I also enjoy,
beer.
It's beer.
He does
and
love
Diet
beer.
Coke. Did you see later he likes Diet Coke?
Oh, I didn't see that.
But yeah, he likes beer. There was one scene where Tom Hanks like puts the beer in front of him and doesn't even open it. And he's like, "Are you gonna open your beer?" And it's like, Tom, it's a dog. You can't be that clueless.
Most of the runtime of this movie is taken up with Tom Hanks like
chasing this dog in his underwear.
Chasing this dog around in his apartment, in his house, in his underwear, buying stuff at the store for the dog, and being appalled that it costs $100 for dog stuff.
Or like that there are different flavors of dog food.
Yeah, and Craig T. Nelson shows up at one point as the chief of police, and you know right as he shows up, this guy's a secret bad guy.
There's a scene when Hooch farts in the police station, and everyone's like, "Should we like open a window?" They're like trying to do the investigation, but they're also like covering their nose, and now that's comedy.
There's a part where Hooch wrecks his car because he leaves Hooch in the car. There's a part where Hooch is tied to the desk, and Hooch sees the bad guy outside, and Hooch like is running the desk all over the place, and Hooch causes a mess in the place. And then there's a part where Hooch bashes his head into a door so much that he busts a hole through it so he can wreck Tom Hanks' house while Tom Hanks is out buying him. Well, Turner's out buying him a bunch of dog food.
Turner comes home and Hooch is like licking his wiener on top of his bed, on top of Tom Hanks's bed, and then Hooch puts his face down on the pillow, and it's like the cutest fucking thing in the world. And you're like, can't be mad at him, you know?
There's a whole scene too before that where Tom Hanks is like walking him around the house going,
"All right, these are the simple rules. No barking, no growling. You will not lift your leg to anything in this house. This is not your room."
He doesn't know how to treat a dog, but you know what? They end up loving each other.
Hooch teaches him how to loosen up a little, man.
And I think he teaches Hooch what it means to be an investigator.
I guess so. I mean, meanwhile, Hooch has like a whole romance with the dog, with the
Lassie dog,
the vet dog, and then Mayor Winningham comes in. And I have some questions about that. We'll get to it in a minute.
Then the end comes. All this like sneaky stuff happens, and then eventually Hooch jumps in front of Turner and gets shot.
He gets shot.
And not only does he get shot, but then he goes on to finish saving Turner by crawling his wounded big boy puppy body across the floor. And it's excruciating, and it goes on too long, and then eventually, I blacked all this. I blacked out because it was so emotional, and eventually Turner takes him in the police car with the siren going.
They catch the bad guys.
Yeah, I'm sure. But they take him in the car, and they go to his girlfriend's, which is the vet.
Yeah.
Luckily, his girlfriend's a vet, but maybe not so luckily because Hooch has lost a lot of blood. And this is when Tom Hanks goes full fucking Hanks.
That's a good boy. Good. Just gotta get you home. You just get yourself some rest. Hold on, Chief. Hold on, boy. Come on, boy. Come on now. Good. Okay, Chief.
Then I didn't watch for a while because I turned away and just let all the tears fall out of my eyes. 5 minutes before that, though, I was looking online to find trivia for this movie, and it got spoiled for me that Hooch died.
Oh yeah, it's like one step away from it. Captain Phillips Tom Hanks, if you've seen Captain Phillips.
Yeah, he turns on the Hanks. Hooch passes away. It's really, really upsetting.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like forward however many months or whatever.
Yeah, this is where I have some questions.
You can go ahead and summarize then.
Well, so it's forward so many months, and Turner has indeed stayed in the town. He's actually hasn't moved to the big city, and he meets up with Reginald Johnson, and he's like, "I solved the case of where the bikes are," and there's a bunch of stolen bikes in this garage. Good job. And then he gets a call. It's like, "Your wife needs you. Something about him. Something." And he's like, "Gotta go take care of this." So he like gets in the car, gets dropped off at home. He runs in there. There's Mare Winningham. She's preggers. There's a bunch of puppies that are all collies, and then he's like,
collies.
She says something like, and they're like older puppies. They're like a few months old, I think. She's like, "He's upstairs, something," and he goes up there. He opens his closet, and in there is a little tiny Hooch.
It's a baby.
And then Hooch, and he's wrecked everything in the closet, and he goes, and then Tom Hanks goes,
"This is not your room."
That's the end of the movie.
And you have an issue with that. I thought that brought me back to life from being emotionally destroyed over the death of Hooch, and then that coming made me happy again.
It is, and here's the thing. It's. I've discussed this with other people before. I'm going to spoil the ending of the movie The Host by Bong Joon-ho. If you haven't seen that, don't watch this part, I guess, if you don't want the ending of that movie. If you don't want the ending of that movie spoiled. So the ending of this movie is basically like, it's Turner and Hooch. Turner and Hooch they're a great team. Hooch gets killed. And then you're supposed to be, and then at the end it's like, but there's a new Hooch and you're supposed to be happy. But that's not Hooch. That's just a different dog that is like also now looks like him. And that's fine. It's a cute puppy. But it's not okay that it's a replacement for that. Now, at the end of The Host, the same thing happens. So again, if you haven't seen The Host, don't listen to this. Spoiler alert. But at the end of The Host, the little girl who has survived the entire movie from this being eaten by this fucking monster, gets back to her family, gets eaten by the monster, and the other little boy that she saved from, that she like helped save from, being eaten by the monster, doesn't get eaten by the monster. And then it ends with the dad of the little girl who has the little boy who's orphaned or whatever as his kid. And it's supposed to be like, well, it's okay. He has a kid still.
No.
And I'm like, no, it's not.
I understand what you're saying, but it's I feel like, no, we know that's not Hooch, but it's symbolic of like all his emotional growth being like, no, now he can still, he can love. And it's not only just another dog. This is like Hooch's son,
I know, but Hooch was still shot to death for Turner.
And no one is saying we can't be mad about that or sad about that, but we're saying that not all is lost. There's still a little bit of love and happiness. We can still feel love after we've lost something and gotten so depressed. There's still a little light that can be found.
If they ever did Turner and Hooch 2, I would be happy to agree with that, but it's a very adorable
Tell
puppy.
us what you think.
It's
Email
a very
us
adorable
Viva
puppy.
at scarecrow.com. And I guess I just don't want you to have such a negative nihilistic attitude about it. I want you to know that
I
don't want
to either.
If your cat died and later you got another cat, people would be happy, but they wouldn't be happy because they think you're going to have that cat be your other cat.
No, I know. Although I did call my parents' dog that they got after our dog died, their replacement dog, for years. But also, here's a weird thing that I've discovered while watching the ending of Turner and Hooch this time that I was kind of like, and maybe I'm just, again, email us if you're a scientist and you figure this out. But so Turner or Hooch dies, and then when it's fast forward, it's. There's puppies that were Hooch's puppies, but Mare Winningham is also like visibly pregnant.
Are you saying that Hooch might not be the father?
I don't know, but it's like, wait, so did Tom Hanks like knock her up that first night they had sex? Because then I had to look. I actually looked up how long it is how long dogs are pregnant for, and it's 3 months. And she's more than 3 months pregnant. Because she's way visibly pregnant.
Or is that baby that she's carrying?
It's not Turner's baby.
Shit.
That's more likely.
Because those puppies looked like.
Those puppies are like a couple months old. They're like three months old, maybe. And maybe somebody who made the movie did the math, or maybe they just stuck a pregnant belly on Mare Winningham and went like, Nobody's ever going to
They're
talk.
children.
Nobody,
Don't worry about it.
Nobody is ever going to dissect this movie enough to notice this.
No adults are going to be on a YouTube show and talk about the paternity of this child.
So we stopped the camera for a second, and then Rich gave us some information about how Tom Hanks is the one who's responsible for Hooch being dead. There was two choices where they're going to kill Hooch or not, and Tom Hanks insisted that they kill Hooch.
And then later interviews regretted it.
And so to his credit, later regretted it.
Yeah. Did you know in that scene that we were talking about where Tom Hanks gets like super dramatic while Hooch is dying? I guess all of that was like kind of improv on his part. In order to like get that emotion, he had actually developed a really strong bond with Beasley on set, and so he was thinking about how if Beasley were to pass, actually, like if the dog were to pass, and how he would never see the dog again in order to get those tears. Before Tom Hanks was cast, they considered Chevy Chase, Bill Murray, and Jack Nicholson.
Wow.
Which would have been really weird.
That would have been a weird movie.
Really weird. I don't know about it.
This is not your room. Jack Nicholson.
In February of last year, Disney Plus was like, we're making a Turner and Hooch TV show.
Are they?
Nothing yet. But they said, and it's been a year. And
They're busy making 25 different MCU.
Yeah, bring us the Hooch.
Henry Winkler was the original director, and he was kicked off the set after 2 weeks.
That's not the only movie where Henry Winkler had an altercation with his star in one of his early movies too. They directed Cop and a Half. Burt Reynolds was so mean to him that like Henry Winkler like went off, like left the set.
Good for Henry Winkler for like knowing.
Oh, absolutely.
When he's like, no, you're toxic. I'm not going to be in this environment.
Oh,
like,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we all support Henry Winkler in these stories.
Yeah.
Like, it's like good for you for leaving.
And maybe Tom Hanks isn't everyone's cup of tea.
And you know, Tom
I can
Hanks,
tell his personality could be abrasive.
Yeah. And maybe on this movie he was a bit like, I don't know, what am I even doing here? You know, maybe he was a bit of a diva.
Tom Hanks is on his way up. Maybe he's
Exactly.
a little too big for his britches.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Turner and Hooch. I give it a paw and a half up. We only have two, you know.
I give it a pop.
If it's
I give it a
half
full
a
pop.
Yeah, give it at least
whatever.
a
It's
full
a full pop.
It's a full pop.
But you know,
it's yeah.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. If you saw it when you were a kid, it's not as good as you remember.
It's not Hotel for Dogs, so don't go in expecting that.
What is though?
I know.
Next time I have a movie that I had heard about a while ago that I didn't realize we had until I was looking through our best of the year section.
Yeah, we have this section
which
up
we're
now.
sitting in. But our next one is a movie called Los Reyes.
I'm excited to watch this. I also hope it doesn't make me cry.
We'll see. We don't know anything about
If
this
this movie
really.
makes me cry, we're gonna watch Beverly Hills Chihuahua next.
Okay, fair enough. We've all been warned. Yikes. This bucket is empty.
This bucket's empty.
That bucket is empty.
He checked it out. The bucket's empty.
That bucket is totally
I wasn't
empty.
expecting it. He wasn't expecting it, but the bucket's empty. We have no more movies to talk about.
I guess that means we're coming to the end of the show.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching. I don't know if you guys noticed. If you're regular watchers, you might notice our little whatever the heck it is thing, our little shelf, our bucket shelf has a new slick paint job by Rich himself behind the camera there. So everybody give him a hand. But look at it, and we've got a couple stickers on here now. We've got our Scarecrow sticker. This is a great crow sticker. You can buy those on scarecrow.com. And we also have one from a cool Vinegar Syndrome sticker that I believe Rich got with his purchase of Action USA.
Why didn't you get one?
I don't know why I didn't get one. Yeah, if you have any cool stickers, I mean movie themed, ideally. But if you have any cool stickers, like send them our way. We're gonna be decorating this whole deal with a bunch of different different stickers.
If you want.
The address is on the screen right now.
5030 Roosevelt Way.
There you go.
We still want to hear from you if you have a favorite local video store, or if you work at a video store or somewhere else.
Absolutely. So I mean, send us any of that stuff. Send to viva@scarecrow.com.
Yeah.
Any links to anything, if you have a video, if you want to take a video of your store, and saying like, "Hi, we're this store," you know, like seriously, like just going like, "Here's what my store is about," you know, like a short video. We'll put it up here. We'll put it in our show. You know, we'll
if you have a sticker,
get it around. If you got a sticker, we'll slap it on the deal here. Also, don't forget to listen to the Scarecrow podcast,
Scarecrow Radio,
at wherever you find podcasts.
It's on Spotify. It's on all the other podcast places. They're doing some cool stuff, interviewing some cool people, repping the store pretty awesomely.
Yep, and also on Thursday nights, but also on they also are archived on Mixcloud. Check out Mark Steiner, who works here. He does a music show called Soundtrack Cinema every Thursday, and in Seattle it's on Space 101.1. But he does have all the episodes up to now. I think he's like on like 80 something.
That's so awesome.
Archived on Mixcloud, so check him out there. He recently did a superhero episode that was great.
Very cool.
Very eclectic, cool mix. Yeah, I mean, and just keep watching us.
Please email us. We love reading emails.
We love reading emails.
We will acknowledge you.
Share us around. I mean, our friend Brian at Pure Cinema has been like sharing our podcasts and thanks.
Check them out too. Pure Cinema podcast and Just the Discs.
When this comes out, I will have already watched the second episode where he Just the Discs episode too, where he did like a thing with his daughter, and so that's awesome. So.
Hint: they also love Hotel for Dogs. So. Share us around, subscribe, comment, email us.
Until next time, I mean, that's what we got.
Yeah, kiss your dogs if you got them. Just give them a kiss, you know?
You never know when they're going to get shot to death saving Tom Hanks' life.
Bye. Viva Physical Media.